It's a simple question, but why coaching?
Well, coaching is really teaching. Coaching is teaching something that I think you have to be passionate about a sport if you're coaching a sport, but coaching is teaching. And, both of my parents were teachers, and I like teaching a sport, and it's teaching something fun, like if you ask a lot of kids what's their favorite class when they're young children, it's gym class or recess. So we're basically coaching recess. We're out there coaching basketball or a sport that's really fun. It's something that's very rewarding when you have, anytime you coach something, that when you see people improve. When I think of myself as a coach, I want to take people somewhere they can't get by themselves. So through coaching, through teaching, through drilling, through reinforcing and, watching video and being in the gym with people, they become players that they didn't even think they could be. And it's really exciting. And it's really fun for them to have success and that you're part of that journey.
Many women across the country, across the world, have seen you in this light, in this position for decades now. Why is it so important for women to be seen as coaches?
Well, just to give you two examples, I hope this answers the question in a way, but when I was coaching the Olympic team, as 25 years ago, we were in Russia. And when we got there, the people that met us said, well, hello, great. Well, but where's the person in charge? I said, well, I'm the head coach. And they're like, well, no, but where's the man? And we're like, well, no, I'm the head coach. And I think that, for a long time in our world, men have run everything, but women are, stepping up, and they're very capable. And we need great examples. We need great mentors. We need great role models of women of color, old women, young women, being successful, so that people can watch and say, again, for a little girl, that can be me someday. And my 8-year-olds at basketball camp, I talked to my 8-year-olds about the fact that, they'll be in a room and there's like 80 of them. And I'll tell them, I did not play on a junior high team. They didn't have it. They had it for boys, but not girls. Right. I did not play on a high school team. They didn't have it for girls. My college team, we had 7 regular season games, no scholarships. And I go through this whole litany of, what it was like, no pro games, no games on television. And after it's all over, one little girl raises her hand and says, why? And I really didn't know how to answer it to that year-old. So I said, can anyone else answer this question? Another little 8-year-old raises her hand and goes, sexism. So, we have a long way to go in this world to have it be fair for girls, and for anyone who is, not the majority or not in the power positions, whether it's coaches, whether it's athletic directors, whether it's presidents or, whatever. We need people to really know that, hey, you are going to do this not based on your sex or not based on your color, but based on what you can do. If you're good, you get the job.
We're going to bring Heidi on now so she can talk smack about you. No, I'm kidding.
Hi, Heidi.
Hi, Tara. Great job, Tara, as always. I learn something new every time I hear Tara, which is, it's great.
You know your sister well. You grew up with her. What is it about your sister that you think makes her so special and sets her apart from most coaches?
I think that, she made reference to having passion for something that you really love. And also, I think that she has a tremendous passion for not just basketball, but for seeing other people be successful. I think that, humility is a great characteristic or a great trait. She definitely has that, but it's really in terms of seeing other people be successful and working hard for them to give them an opportunity to be successful. I think sometimes in maybe high profile, specifically at Stanford or, other Power 5 conferences, people do it for the wrong reasons. I think Tara has consistently done it for the right reasons.
Jericka, could I go off topic for just 1 second?
Sure, absolutely.
This year has not just been about the COVID virus. it's been about the social justice virus also. And I feel remiss if we didn't, and I have my sisters on here, but if we didn't address some of the other issues that are happening in our world. When I was 15 and Heidi was 5, my parents were moving, and we had a lawyer from across the street, a white man, and both my parents are white, came to our house and told my parents, do not sell your house to a Black family. Mm-hmm. And my mother said, we will sell our house to whoever we want to sell our house to. Goodbye. Mm-hmm. And I just think I just feel like, as coaches, and as a family, we need to really stick up for more than just dribbling and shooting. And I'm so excited that like LeBron has used his platform to talk about voting rights. We are in a crisis in this country with over 200 bills to restrict voting rights in our country, and we're talking about women and people of color. Like we're all in this together. We're fighting 2 viruses. So I just wanted to express to you the fact that we're not just dealing with the COVID virus. I'm not just in quarantine for that. We're not just about coaching basketball. We are about mentoring young women to be strong citizens, strong voices of what's right in this world. And, I just think, we got to get in it together, and we've got to really work hard.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because it is such a part of when I think of 2020, you think of the pandemic, social injustice, and the financial crisis that many people are facing who've lost their jobs. If I could, and this is a question for both of you to feel free to chime in, you all have been coaching for decades. How have the times shifted, in your opinion, where it feels okay to do things like take a knee or talk about social injustice? Because these issues aren't new, but for some reason now it seems like it's okay to talk about it.
Go ahead, Heidi.
No, I was just going to say, and I feel like in the world of basketball, it's a small community, women's basketball specifically, and I feel like we've talked about it in our own community or on our own teams or in our own locker rooms. But I honestly feel like WNBA was, spearheaded the change, and I think that then colleges follow suit, and so I feel like social media has brought it to obviously the forefront, which is great, and it needs to be, because we talk about the pandemic in terms of COVID, but we're in a social pandemic as well.
Also, I think whether it's been athletes or coaches, Steve Kerr. They are active on social media. And I think that athletes there's been a transition to, you're not just a dribbler and shooter. You do have a voice. You are important. You are an important voice for young people and people throughout the world to listen to, whether it's LeBron, Steph Curry, Dawn Staley. I think it's time for everyone to be talking about this, and like you said, using the platform that we have as athletes or coaches to influence change, positive change in a positive way. And our team is I think whether it's taking a knee for an anthem, whether it's having Black Lives Matter shirts as their warm-up shirts. It's bringing attention and bringing conversation and discussion and hopefully change to a situation. And that's why I'm saying, like, social justice is one thing, the court system and all the I think our team has really embraced reading and talking about things that you're like, quite honestly, like kind of as a white adult, you're like, really, this stuff happened? And it's still happening. This is, we've got to do something about it. So I think even this last year has shifted people even further to saying, wow, this is not right.
And it's funny you talk about taking a knee. We just did a story yesterday on a team that won a state title. And I see you shaking your head, Heidi. There was an announcer who was on the mic over. Yes, and he was heard saying the N-word. These young girls handled it with class. We interviewed 3 of them, and they said they realize that it's bigger than them, but they want to continue to do their part. If you don't mind just speaking on a story like that, that just recently happened. We're not talking, again, decades ago. These things are still happening every day.
Well, I shook my head, and then Tara, chime in for sure. I feel like, our players have their kind of like the pulse of the next generation. And Tara was referring to, as whatever age group we are, and these things are still happening. But I feel like, there has to be a change. And I think there's a tipping point. And I hope that tipping point has happened and we will see change.
I know that you prioritize African American women as wanting to really make sure that, you're giving those people, as you mentioned, options when they say, well, we can't find any women and we can't find any women of color. If you could just speak to why you've prioritized reaching out to try and make sure young women of color are also considering coaching.
Well, again, I think it's a great job. And look at the number of young women of color who are participating. I think it's really important that people they can look and say, she looks like me. She is like me. She has my life experiences, which then maybe can relate on a different level. I love every player on my team. I can't tell you, like with, different players, there is a different rapport that maybe my Black assistant might have with a Black player because they've experienced maybe similar things, life experiences that I haven't experienced. But I think that having diversity, being inclusive, having different variety, to me makes for a much better team. And I want that on our staff, and I think other people want that on their staffs too.